But the thing I noticed was like the thing that they do, right? Like they do the Galaxy Quest. If you're familiar with that move, they do the aspect ratio change. And I think, oh my god, really? Lol. Okay, that's funny. That's funny to me specifically. You see how the aspect ratio change is animated on alternating frames? The aspect ratio change is animated on 2s. That's pretty funny. But they do the Galaxy Quest thing, right? Like where we start in the perspective of this is the way that the 4:3 ratio that you might have seen it displayed at on your monitor, your shitty CRT monitor in like your parents' office. And then we do the Galaxy Quest thing where we extend the ratio and then through the looking glass, quite literally, right? Like we enter into not quite 4K, but the 2K rendering of this universe, retaining all of the same physics, retaining all of the same limitations, right? Because part of the point of doing these volumes so simply back then, right, was that this shit was going to be so compressed on the screen anyway, right? Like part of the reason why they render trees in such incredibly simple ways, volumes, is because that shit was going to be on monitors that were like 480 by 360 or whatever, right? Like these tiny little crunched down CRT monitors with like scanline filters and CRT glow and God knows what else. It was going to be crunched so badly that there was no point rendering better detail. So like this feels very authentic to back then. You try and blow that up into Ultra HD ray tracing 4K and it becomes uncanny, right? Like all of a sudden it looks wrong. It looks weird. It looks unreal and kind of dreamlike in a way that it didn't back when it was like appropriate to its constraints. And you can literally see that happen, like the way the color temperature changes, the way the light, like all of a sudden these three is ambient occlusion and cast shadows. You can see the same thing on the texture on like the letters themselves, right? Like that they all of a sudden change the vibe and feeling of their reflectivity quite substantially. You can even see the shadow, you can see the shadow appearing next to the entrance to the circus tent over here even. One thing they've captured very well is the uncanniness of that, because even though the camera is moving through this 3D space, right, and moving past the hills and all that, look how the skybox just stays in place. It doesn't move because it's a static projection on the backdrop of whatever the camera is observing, so the skybox does not move relative to the motion of the camera, and it looks weird because that's not really how it's supposed to look in real life. That's well captured, I think. Anyway,